Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 1996 Mel Gibson film Ransom, and this is my second classic Mel Gibson film review. Last week I did We Were Soldiers, this week I'm doing Ransom, next week I shall do another, and then I'll do my top 10 favourite Mel Gibson films, so that's upcoming in a week or two. Now this is a really good film that I remember going to the cinema to see, and it's directed by Ron Howard, brilliant director, and it stars, obviously we have Mel Gibson, we have Rene Russo, we have Gary Sinise, we have Delroy Lindo, we have Brawley Nolte, who is the son of Nick Nolte, who plays the boy that gets kidnapped in this film, and we get Liev Schreiber as well, and Donnie Wahlberg, a very good cast. And this film focuses on the billionaire Tom Mullen, played by Mel Gibson, who he runs like this airline company, and he's in the news at the minute because he's being accused of taking bribes or something like that. And Gary Sinise, who plays a police detective, basically kidnaps his son. And there's a really good scene at the beginning where it's all set up, and then the son's taken. And when I first saw this film, I didn't have any children, and when I watch it now, having a son, it has a different meaning to me now, because every parent's worst nightmare is to have their son or child kidnapped or taken. So it actually has a bigger impact on me now than even when I saw it the first time round. So that's set up really well at the beginning of the film. You see the child getting kidnapped, you see the absolute horror and panic in the parents, Rene Russo and Mel Gibson. The police come and get involved, and that's headed up by Delroy Lindo, who is an expert in these situations, hostage negotiations, that type of thing. And at the start of it, Mel Gibson and Rene Russo's characters, they play a ball with the police. They do everything they say, but it keeps getting messed up. It keeps going wrong, and he gets more and more frustrated, Mel Gibson, Tom Mullen, and he's had enough, and he heads off to the nearest news network, and he gets put on TV, piles of money in front of him, and gives a direct message to the kidnappers and says, "You will not see $1 of this money. You will never ever get this ransom. Instead, I'm offering this as a reward for your heads. So either give me my son back now, or you're going to get everybody out there chasing you down until you give me my son back." So he starts this war with Gary Sinise and the other kidnappers, which absolutely infuriates both Delroy Lindo and the police, and obviously his wife, played by Rene Russo, who begs him to take it back. She just wants her son back, but so does Mel Gibson. He's desperate to get his son back, but he thinks this is the only way he's ever going to get him back, because he believes if his money gets handed over, his son's dead. So you get it from both sides here. You get it from the Mel Gibson's, Tom Mullen's family's side of it, and the police, everything they're doing, but you get it from the other side as well, the kidnapper side, Gary Sinise and all the other people who've taken this child. So you get both sides of it, and it's a really good balanced film because of that. It gives it from both sides, and it's a tremendously made film, this really thrilling, with some really good action elements thrown in as well. And I think this was one of Mel Gibson's strongest films in the 90s. I mean, he had a great decade in the 80s and the 90s, to be fair, Mel Gibson, but this has always been one of my favourite Mel Gibson films. He's an outstanding actor in roles like this. Rene Russo is brilliant. Sometimes she gets underrated as an actress because she came from a modelling background, but she's great in this, and they already had that spark and chemistry from the Lethal Weapon films, because she played his love interest in the Lethal Weapon films. So they'd already done by this point Lethal Weapon 3, and they went on to make Lethal Weapon 4. So there was a great chemistry between them anyway, so you believe that relationship. And Delroy Lindo is great as the police detective. But arguably the standout here is Gary Sinise as the police detective. He's got an air of you kind of at times empathise with him. He's not he's not a typical villain in the sense of he's not a pantomime villain. He doesn't overplay the part. You believe him. He's quite laid back and relaxed. He thinks things through. He's not doing it because he's an evil person. He's planned it meticulously, and he plays a really complex and interesting character here. And how he decides to resolve this situation, if you've never seen the film, is really creative, even if it does backfire. So for me, Ransom is easily one of Mel Gibson's standout films, one of the best films in its genre. Certainly at the time, it stands up really well today still, because I've watched it recently to prepare for this review, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I watched it with my wife, who's never seen it before, and she absolutely loved it. Keeps you completely engaged throughout. The pacing is perfect in this film, and it's edge of the seat stuff as well. So I can't really give you an awful lot of weaknesses here, not from my perspective. There's you even get some scenes with the kidnappers where there's a couple of them who are quite sympathetic, and they have a couple of touching moments with the kidnapped boy, you know. So it taps into that side, so you have a little bit of sympathy and empathy for the kidnappers as well. So ultimately, this is a really, really fun, really superbly well made Ron Howard film, and definitely one to watch if you've never seen this in regards to Mel Gibson's film library. So I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Again, it was close to getting a 9, but it's not one of those films, if you like, that, you know, it's not like on the level of Braveheart, if you like instant classic that's going to be, you know, remembered forever and that sort of thing. But it's a really superb film, and I really, really enjoy it, and I strongly recommend you watch it if you've never seen Ransom before. So that's my second classic film review for Mel Gibson. There'll be a third one next week. Have a guess in the comments what you think that might be. And once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.